The Premier Tournament in Australian softball about to get ready and ready to get underway. It's New South Wales versus South Australia, the first game of the 2023 Gilley's Shield. Kaya Parnaby, the Olympian, making her return to the national stage, has the ball in the circle, and Jordan Harris making her return to the national stage as well for South Australia. And we are underway with the first pitch strike. Eric Ballnar, Katie Press, James Harris here calling all the action. Katie, James, we're starting the tournament right where it finished last year, and what a way it was to finish, and this is a heavyweight matchup to begin.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. Good to be here, and welcome, Katie, as well. Yeah, it's a grand final rematch between New South Wales and South Australia. New look teams for both of them. Parnaby obviously wasn't here for New South Wales, and Harris not here for South Australia. So, Katie, welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, it's good to be here, guys.
So Jordan Harris leading things off. She was one of the players that was not part of the South Australian squad last year. She had a daughter during that time and was unable to play. But she's been one of the best players at these national tournaments in South Australia's rise to prominence. South Australia had been knocking on the door for a few years and then finally banged it down last year, breaking a 66-year title drought to win their first national championship. Now it's just a 6-month drought. It was in May when they won it last time. And it's a first batter strikeout for Kaya Parnaby. And Kaya Parnaby, one of the best in Australia. She went to Tokyo last year with the Aussie Spirit. She was an Olympian. She played in Olympic Games, and you're seeing the quality in the first at-bat right there. Amber Hood, the leadoff hitter mainly last year in the tournament for South Australia. One of the best players at getting on base. You play a lot against her in the South Australian competition, Katie, and she leads the league in walks and just always seems to find a way, a great command of that strike zone.
Yeah, she's got a great eye. Playing against her last week, I think she got on every time we saw her. So, and she's fast too, so that didn't help us much. But
Katie got a chance to play against the Stars in a tune-up game last week, and the Stars and Stripes, a team made up mainly of American players, versus the SA Stars. Parnaby, though, filling up the strike zone early, getting ahead in counts. Parnaby played professional softball in Japan, so she's gone against some of the best in the world on a consistent basis. Pitch just on the outside, and again, Amber Hood having no problem just leave that bat on her shoulder and take another pitch.
yeah, that was a great eye. I mean, that pitch was really close, and Parnaby's been really consistent with her strike zone so far. And we've only seen 2 batters, but she's been bringing it.
2-1 count. Fouls one away. Amber Hood just protecting the zone, evens up the count at 2s. South Australia and New South Wales, they played 4 games in last tournament, and 3 of them were instant classics. They opened the tournament last year as well, and that game went to extra innings. It was a 2-1 game. New South Wales won it, and it was tight from start to finish. One of those games where those small moments made big differences, and we expect more of the same today. 2-2 to Amber Hood, and how did she lay off that pitch?
I don't know. I think New South Wales thought that was a strike too.
Right on brand for Amber Hood. Even if she goes down on strikes or she gets out here, it's a tough at-bat, which is exactly what you expect. One of 10 returning players from that national champion team. Squads of 16 from May. Hood fouls one away, and she's still in her young 20s, but she's been playing in the Premier League competition in South Australia for the last 7 seasons or so now, and has just been one of the dominant and star players for almost a decade now, which is kind of hard to believe. She has to play in this tournament with her sister. Full count, 7th pitch of this at-bat. And a swing and a miss, so Parnaby sends one down low that gets Amber Hood chasing. Parnaby gets her second strikeout, but it was a good at-bat from Amber Hood.
Yeah, seeing 8 pitches in 1 at bat is great, and taking pitchers deep into the count honestly helps your teammates out too.
Belle White versus Kaya Parnaby. Here you go, Olympic on Olympic matchup. Belle White would have caught Kaya Parnaby during the Tokyo Olympics. They would know each other very well, and Belle was one of the superstars of the last Gilley Shield. If you read the Advertiser over the weekend, Belle White getting some accolades as well.
Yeah, Ben Hook wrote a great article about the greatest athletes in South Australian history, and Belle White got her mention. Not bad. She's been to 5 World Championships and Olympic Games, an Olympic qualifier, played in the US professionally, played in Europe, both in the Netherlands and Italy. Her resume is longer than both our arms.
Is that good?
Is that good? Yeah. Not bad.
Is that good?
Belle White ahead in the count early. It was her defensive accolades in the last tournament that were super impressive. Think back to the semifinal game where she had to catch a ball right against the fence just to the right of her, right on that screen of yours. Climbed the wall to make a crucial out and then delivered another hit just a couple moments later.
Climbed the wall and bounced right back off it as well. She took a little bit of time to get up, but she was fine. Advantage Belinda White here, sitting in the special comment seat, which is normally reserved for Lee Hull. Belinda catches Takaya internationally, so she knows all her pitches, she knows her tricks, and I think Taylor Titsacronis just calling a timeout, just to have a word to Kaya. 3-0 count. They're not going to give her anything near the strike zone.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. You make the point. Obviously, Bella catcher, the catcher that she worked with at the Olympics is Taylor Titsacronis as well, so she would know all of her tricks as well as that they might call. You see that as an advantage as a catcher yourself, and when you're going against a pitcher that you've maybe worked with before?
Yeah, it's honestly, as a batter going against a pitcher that I've caught for, it's definitely an advantage knowing, what they throw, how their ball moves, what their speed is, and kind of just even the mental game in their accuracy and where they're at and what headspace they're in when they're out there.
Problem is, you still got a hitter, and she's pretty tough to hit. 3-1 count. White to left field. This moving back. Rachel Lack, it's over her head. Belle White with the first hit of the Gilley Shield, and she's going to stand up on second with a double. So Belle White on the board, and South Australia have a runner in scoring position.
Great shot from Belinda, just on the Eastern replay, hits it over the head of Rachel Lack at left field.
Star-studded lineup around the diamond. Rachel Lack in left field, Michelle Cox in center field, and Isabel Hanna in right field. 2 Olympians and a college star over on right field. Bree Trim at third, Stacey McManus, Olympian at shortstop. Montana Kearns, being with the Aussie Spirit side before, at second. Stacey Porter, the GOAT, at first, and Taylor Titsacronis, another Olympian, catching Olympian Kaya Parnaby. 6 Olympians in this lineup today for New South Wales.
Yeah, they got another one just sitting in the dugout waiting to go, Gabby Plain.
Another 2 on the national, or have been on national teams before. Yo Grauer up to bat. She is, well, I don't know if you say she is or she was an import. Came over here 4 years ago to Australia.
Just like Katie's moved over here permanently and has a fur family in the Riverland, and she was an international for the USA youth team, which was a World Championship winning team. Then she played in a European Cup for Sweden.
And she had a great 2 months in terms of South Australian softball history last year. For those that don't know, she was, and she is, the leader of that Port Adelaide softball team that broke a 56-year, they've never won one, but they had never been to a grand final at all. And they finally get to one, and they won their first ever grand final. And then was the starting pitcher and a key player in South Australia's win in the Gilley Shield that broke a 66-year drought. There's over a century of droughts that she broke by being a key part of those teams last year. Yo Grauer, very much a key part of South Australian softball folklore, you'll say now.
Yeah, Kath Coral medalists in her first season, and just a strikeout machine as well when she pitches, and she can hit the ball to the fence. We saw it in the grand final. She broke the game open early with one of her hits and some RBIs.
And New South Wales, they've made a lot of notable improvements. Anytime you get a bunch of Olympians back in the lineup, that's going to help your team. But South Australia have too. You could make the argument that Yo Grauer might be even the number 3 pitcher on this team after being the ace last year, depending how you look at it or how you analyze pitching.
Yeah, got some tricks this year. SA and New South Wales just added to their lineups.
Grauer fouls one away, so another lengthy at bat.
Yeah, good to see him testing Parnaby, who wouldn't have pitched on this diamond, I wouldn't have thought. I'm just trying to think back to the Denzo series that we hosted a few years back, whether or not she was on that team or not. So I don't think she's ever pitched here before. Same as Plain, same as potentially everyone except Ladner and Rickson, who have come over and played in the Premier League here.
Grounded away, another foul ball from Yo Grauer, just doing enough to stay alive and keep it a 1-2 count.
Change up as well, something different.
Just jammed a little bit over towards third base. Bree Trim makes the play, so South Australia gets a runner to second, but the side is retired, and Kaya Parnaby gets through the first inning cleanly. But
Eastern replay here, it was a rise ball as well, so just couldn't get her hands up to it in time. And Bree Trim, who's returned to the New South Wales lineup after a bit of a spell with the Victorian team, couple of years for Victoria, so she's back to her native New South Wales.
Here's how South Australia will line up defensively. Sarah Tonkin in left field. She's the one that made those incredible catches in the grand final game last year. The moment that probably turned the grand final for South Australia. Pippa Adkins now in center field after Maddie Cameron not playing softball right now, so she's not on the SA Stars team. In right field, Amber Hood. The infield, Lana Kaesler. Boy, was she impressive last year at third base. Chelsea Robinson back from the Netherlands and playing shortstop. Jordan Harris returns to the senior state team playing second. Georgia Hood back from college to play first base. Belle White catching, and Steph Trzynski wasn't part of the Stars team last year, but she has been the dominant, not just pitcher, but player in South Australian softball the last couple years. And Katie, Steph Trzynski is probably as good as they come in South Australia in the circle.
Yeah, we saw her on Thursday as well, and she was bringing it for sure. So hopefully today will be the same story.
She's won the last 2 MVPs, the Kath Coral Medal, the best and fairest in the South Australian competition, not just for her work in the circle, but work with the bat. And it was just last year where she had that minuscule ERA. I think she had, what, 1 run in the entire season. Walked 4 batters in the entire year.
Yeah, it made an impact as soon as she came back, and it's just Steph Trzynski, last 2 years, last 2 Kath Coral medals, and just an impressive young player. She's still only mid-20s, so plenty of softball career left. And
tough lineup to work against for New South Wales. Michelle Cox, Olympian. Stacey McManus, Olympian. Stacey Porter, Olympian. Taylor Titsacronis, Olympian. Bree Trim, she was on that Aussie Spirit squad that went to Japan, to Tokyo. Rachel Lack, Olympian. Grace Rickson, the rising star, the rookie of the tournament last year, and she is going to be something to watch going forward. Montana Cairns has been on the Aussie Spirit side before, and Isabel Hanna, just 21 years old, already has college experience. That's a tough lineup to navigate. Is that intimidating when you look at that?
That's definitely impressive. Coming from having played, D1 ball and playing over in the States, seeing that, I'll play against a D1 player any day. But then when you say, oh, they're an Olympian, they're on the national team, this one's an Olympian, it's definitely a little bit intimidating.
New South Wales were so close to winning their 5th Gilley's Shield in a row last year. It was South Australia that spoiled their party right here on this diamond. Michelle Cox was one of the players on that team.
She didn't play the final, though, if you remember.
She got hurt
and came out of the game earlier in the day and then didn't play the final. Hey, thanks to Spacequake Sports, all the games on Diamond 2 are being broadcast as well. And at the end of the first, Victoria and WA are tied at 0-0. Good to have WA back.
This tournament sort of shaping up to be razor thin margins between almost all of the teams. You feel like every team has the ability to beat every team in any given game. It hasn't always been that way. Sometimes you walk in and you're like, yep, this is, you can pencil it in for a win here. I'm not even sure you could have major upsets with the caliber of the field this year.
Every team have improved their depth from last year, and WA back as well. You know, speaking with their coaches, that they know that they've started a rebuild after missing last year's Nationals. And so they've got some young players, but they've also got some Jets as well. A couple of Auburn imports. So every team a chance. ACT finished 5th last year, but they were a play away from making the top 4. They lost 3 tiebreakers. So, you know, you win, turn those games around, you win those, they would have finished, you know, 3rd on the ladder after the minor round.
Even
so tight.
Victoria, who benefited from some of those tiebreakers, obviously they won and got to the preliminary final versus SA, but there were a couple game-changing moments in that game. It was very possible Victoria could have won that game versus South Australia.
They were leading, and then it was Belinda White's inning, wasn't it? It was a captain's knock in defense and offense in one inning of work, and you mentioned that catch against the fence. It was inspiring for the team, and from there, South Australia took control of the rest of the day.
So Michelle Cox already a tough at-bat versus Steph Trzynski. And a swing and a miss, so Steph Trzynski gets a strikeout. But I'll tell you what, there's been 4 outs in this game so far. Kaya Parnaby obviously pitching for New South Wales, and now Steph Trzynski for the Stars. All of them have been tough outs. The pitchers winning very early on in this game, but man, another lengthy at bat. Stacey McManus, the co-captain, or probably the second in command, the vice captain here with New South Wales.
Yeah, part of the leadership group. And they've got plenty of it. Leadership is something that they do not lack in the New South Wales team. There's Steph Trzynski on screen.
Multiple national titles for Stacey McManus. Up the middle, over towards shortstop. Robinson tested and delivers.
It was the change-up that beat her. She still got her hands to it, but kind of off the end of the bat. Chelsea Robinson eats them up all day long.
Well, coming up to bat, just a living legend in Stacey Porter. If you're a softball fan, not just even in this country, but around the world, you probably know the name. Even Katie, when we were looking at the lineup, you said, I'm not from here and I know who Stacey Porter is.
Yep, that's right. I've definitely heard the name. I've watched her play.
I was very fortunate enough to interview her right before she took the diamond to break the world record for most international games played for their country, and very emotional time, and I was very grateful that the interview finished because she got me. She was choking up, she got me. She's a passionate player,
and right up the middle. And it takes a weird bounce in center field off Pippa Adkins. Porter trying to stretch it to 2. She'll slide in there. So she takes advantage of a friendly bounce in center field to stand up on 2. And how's this? Both teams kind of mirroring each other. The first 2 batters go down, and then the team's leaders. One, Stacey Porter for New South Wales, stands on 2, just as Belle White did.
Well, it shows the class of the hitter, doesn't it? She's had a year off nationals. I mean, she was still playing in Japan this season, and she broke their all-time home run record as well for their pro league this season. She just smashes up the middle and then head first sliding. So not the youngest on the team, let's put it that way. Putting the body on the line, game 1.
Well, Stacey Porter may be the GOAT of Australian softball, but if you want the current rock star of Australian softball, it has to be this woman, Taylor Titsacronis.
Yeah, everything about her just screams class. She's got everything that you'd want from a player, hasn't she?
Gets jammed over towards center field. It's still got some carry with it. Over on left field, and it's over the head of Sarah Tonkett. Maybe lost in the sun just a little bit, but Taylor Titsacronis, with 2 outs, has driven in the first run of the game for New South Wales.
Massive hit. She got under it, and I think we all thought that it might have been caught. Then Sarah Tonkin picked up a bit of pace. Looked like she's just misread it. Let's have a look at the Eastern replay. Looked like she had it covered, and then all of a sudden she's had to change direction, and it was a step away from the fence. So an RBI double for Titsacronis.
You can see in the outfield, almost on that replay, it was like an oh no moment for Sarah Tonkin. Like, got it, uh-oh. Bree Trim making her debut at the national level for New South Wales, but not her first national tournament. She played with Victoria the last couple years, and she was fantastic last year for the Titans that made it all the way to the preliminary final.
Yeah, they're hitting leader as well. Massive tournament with the bat. She didn't like that one on the outside edge. You rewind 8 months, the opening game of the tournament, it was scheduled for this diamond, but was played on Diamond 2. You broadcast on radio for the first time on Spacequake Sports, and in the very similar fashion, the ball was hit over the head of Sarah Tonkin to break the deadlock, and that was enough to win the game. It was Shannon Keevers that hit the ball that game, but it was over the head of Tonkin. Now, go forward 4 or 5 days, and it was Sarah Tonkin, the hero at left field, taking a couple of catches. So some similarities already in this tournament.
This ball straight up in the air again. Now has to fight the sun. Moving back is Robinson. She'll make the play. James, just to add to that, remember Sarah Tonkin, that great catch, that highlight reel. It made the news in South Australia on all the media outlets because of how spectacular it was. Again, similar situation, 2 outs, runners on. It caught in foul territory. It was a ball that had no right being caught. But remember who was batting? Taylor Titsacronis. And that time, Taylor Titsacronis gets the little revenge shot, although I think she would rather have the ball drop in the grand final with runners on rather than in the first inning of the first game of the tournament.
Here's the Eastern replay. Chelsea Robinson getting under it. Sarah Tonkin was there to cover as well. Katie, what's it like playing on this diamond? Like, just let's give some of the people watching at home what it's like. You normally play left side, but we did see you play second base for the Stars and Stripes a week ago.
Yeah, so being out here, especially that one that went over Sarah's head just then, whether there's a breeze or there's not a breeze, there's still a breeze out here. So anything in the air, you've got to read in the wind, and you've either got to get under it right away or you've got to try and drift with it. And so it's really difficult to kind of play the ball in the outfield.
What about on the infield? Is it a hard diamond? Is it like it looks? I was walking out there earlier. It seemed. I mean, we've had scorching hot weather the last couple days, so it can't be soft. It's got to be pretty hard, doesn't it?
It doesn't look too bad today, actually. The other night it was really, really rock solid. And the bad thing, like if you look at third base, there's a little bit of a dip there. And so I'm usually at 3. If you ever see me playing there, I'm always up because I'm playing out of the dip. Because I don't want that ball to hit that.
Because then you don't know where it goes?
Right, exactly.
Just thanks to Spacequake Sports, it's 1-0 on Diamond 2, Victoria lead WA early in the game.
There is a page on Spacequake Sports where all the games are listed that you can kind of watch all the games, split your screens. People from all over the world, I know, tuning in to this one. Even from Guelph, Ontario, I've heard some rumors. Georgia Hood up to bat.
I don't think she thought that last pitch was a strike.
Happens with a lot of batters, doesn't it? If it gets called a strike and you don't swing at it, you never think it's a strike. Speaking of people watching internationally, I'd say that there'd be some people from Pensacola watching Georgia. Pensacola, Florida.
What a year she had in her first year at Pensacola last year, especially in the early parts of the summer our time. But Kaya Parnaby gets her 3rd strikeout of the game, and she's doing a good job mixing up the pace of their pitches, isn't she?
Yeah, a couple of change-ups to get some batters already, and it's only the top of the second. But I just saw a collective shiver down the spines of the New South Wales team as this player, Lana Kaiser, came to the plate.
You know what, it's hard to call it a breakout tournament last year in the Gilley Shield, but she certainly took her game to the next level. Kaisler has been one of the leaders of this Stars team for a number of years and part of the rise of South Australian softball from easy beat to beat everybody.
Yeah, they were winless for a couple of seasons in a row a decade ago, and slowly but surely through the ranks, and Kaisler's been there the entire ride along with Belinda White.
And while she's had big national tournaments before, last one just felt a little bit different. Dynamite in the field, clutch hits. Her bat was red hot after she had, admittedly, she'll tell you, she had a bit of a cold Premier League season leading into the tournament, and then she just exploded in front of the national selectors. They said, you know what? We'd love to see you on the Aussie Spirit as well.
Yeah, they put her in the squad. She didn't get the chance to wear the green and gold, but she said there was a thrill just to get named.
Just to get recognized.
That was a nice snag.
Taylor Titsacronis behind the plate. It's probably the two best catchers in Australian softball, Katie, in this game, you would say.
Yeah, the two Olympians.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, right there.
You can't beat that.
Titsacronis' fiance, Zane Van Lieshout, is a New Zealand Black Sox catcher as well.
Not on a world championship team at the moment.
Well, not current. He has won one, but he's not current. The
Who's that?
Aussie Steelers are the current men's world champions.
Kaesler, a teacher. Wouldn't Kaesler be a fun teacher to have? She has to do all the outdoorsy stuff, takes the kids surfing, takes the kids on the outdoor excursions.
Also the state schoolgirls coach as well, took over the mantle from Mel McGee, another legend in South Australian softball. She'll join our commentary team later in the week. She'll be watching from Robe.
Swing and a miss. 4 strikeouts from Kaya Parnaby. 3 of them swinging, and she's got some big names down. Amber Hood, Georgia Hood, and Lana Kaesler, as well as Jordan Harris. Those aren't easy batters to strike out.
Massive names in the lineup.
Chelsea Robinson, part of that national championship winning team back in May, and right after that tournament, almost the day after, she jetted off to the Netherlands.
I would say she had no sleep. Let's just leave it at that.
She went right. It was the next day, wasn't it? And she landed on King's Day.
Yeah.
In the Netherlands.
Such fun.
James, you got a chance to play over there?
5 years in a row. I loved every second of it. We won a Dutch national championship with DVH, and then European Super Cup. I ended it there. They gave me a chance to be an assistant coach on the national team as well. Went to a men's world in 2013. I got really well looked after in the Netherlands, and I'm sure Chelsea did as well.
Another pitch down low. She's riding that a lot.
I feel like she's been up and down, kind of all over the place. I don't think our hitters are South Australia's hitters are really able to predict what she's going to bring next. She's been really consistent in hitting her spots, but also really good at just moving the ball around.
Well, she's world class for a reason, and it's a great pickup, Katie. She's a pro in Japan and played a couple of seasons in the pro league in the States, as well as a college career at Hawaii, Olympian, multiple Australian titles, and you know, you just say your name and you know how much quality you're going to get in the game.
4 strikeouts already, and she's got 2 strikes on Chelsea Robinson. Robinson lays off a pitch up high.
And most of the South Australian hitters have been able to lay off that rise ball, but it's dangerous because it's just on the letters, so you get an umpire with an expanded zone, you could get called on it.
Another strikeout. Robinson was jotting down to first base, but called out on strike. So Kaya Parnaby strikes out the side. She's got Harris, Hood ×2. Kaesler and Robinson allowed just the double to Bell White. It is impressive from Kaya Parnaby early on. So what kind of feedback would players, you know, I mean, you've got 5 pretty big name players, national champion players that are going back to the dugout. They've been struck out and diced up in the first 2 innings from Kaya Parnaby. As a player, what kind of feedback are you giving others in the dugout when you return there?
Definitely don't anticipate. You expect pitches, but you don't anticipate what they're going to throw. You don't know what she's going to bring. For sure, look for your pitch while you're still ahead in the count, and then if you're down in the count, you've got to foul off whatever you can. Because
the point that you made earlier, that she's down, she's up, she's around, she's changing it up. She's on the living on the outside edge. you got to take I remember listening to Patty Gasso saying that her players are hunting pitches. So you just cut the strike zone in half. You're only going for low balls, or you even further, you cut it into a quarter. I'm only going for down and away, and you hunt that pitch until you get it, because she is going all around the strike zone. For every batter, for every at bat, you're going to get one. And as Jared Farrell says, probably the best batter in the country in the men's game, he always says, you keep swinging at good pitches, you're bound to run into one sooner or later.
Steph Trzynski back in the circle. There's back-to-back doubles, but one was kind of a jam shot from Stacey Porter up the middle, and Taylor Titsacronis had a ball to the outfield that could have been caught and just drifted over the head of Sarah Tonkin, lost maybe in the sun a little bit. So it's not like Trzynski was smashed in the first inning to allow the run, but you figure with the quality of Parnaby right now, Trzynski, she doesn't have much of a room for error in terms of what that run count will be. So
yeah, 1-0, it doesn't sound like much, but against the pitcher of Parnaby, it's a lot.
Rachel Lack back in the lineup, fouls one away. Another player of extreme international quality.
Yeah, she was a player of the final a couple of years back. These two teams have played the last 3 finals against one another, and she hit a walk-off in one of those games, and outstanding. She can play outfield, she can play third, she can play catcher.
Graduated with a Bachelor of Biodiversity and Conservation, so she's working in bushland restoration.
Yeah, she grew up working in a zoo.
I love that. I need to talk to her. That's always been my fallback job, park ranger.
You definitely have to catch her.
I say fallback only because I have a job that I love to do right now, but if I were to change careers, I want to be a park ranger. Put me in Tasmania in a park somewhere, James.
Nice golf courses in Tasmania as well.
By park ranger, I mean golf cart guy.
Right at the back of the box as well. Look at her, that back foot's almost teetering.
And she drifts one again to that same spot. Titsacronis had it. It's up over the fence and gone. Rachel Lack with a solo shot. The first home run of the Gilley Shield. And it's 2-0 New South Wales.
Well, it's still only early doors, bottom of the second inning, but wow, that's going to hurt. Let's look at the Eastern replay. She gets all of it as well. It looks like a smooth swing, and there was some quiet around the diamond, but I think everyone knew that was sailing.
That swing just looked effortless, and those are the best hits, the ones that you just don't even feel them and they're gone.
An effortless swing, and now it's going to take a big effort from South Australia to try to claw back in this one. It's only 2 runs, but it does feel maybe not a mountain, but certainly a sizable hill that South Australia have to start climbing. Still no outs. Grace Rickson up to bat, and she was the player, or the rising star, the player of the tournament. Last year she was amazing in the circle. She kind of busted her way into the starting 9. She wasn't part of it to start the tournament for New South Wales, but as the week went on and the at-bats kept piling up, so did the hits and the big moments.
Yeah, she was unbelievable, wasn't she, Grace? She's come across and played in the SA Premier League for the Hills Heat for a few games and contributed both with bat and ball.
Fouled back. She's been part of those under-23 teams as well. She was just here a couple weeks ago in South Australia.
No, she didn't play.
But she has been here in South Australia this year. Playing for Hills.
Last year she played both. And this year she's played for Hills and just in the senior team, the Fire Starters.
And she has played for the Hills this year in the Premier League competition.
Yep. Yeah,
South Australian clubs took the opportunity to take a couple of New South Wales players.
Ladner, who's sitting in the dugout, and Rickson as well. So Ladner's thrown a couple of games for Sturt, Katie, and Grace for Hills Heat.
Yeah, I think that Sturt game that Ladner threw against Glenelg
season opener, right?
Yeah, but it was the weekend or 2 weekends before I started playing with Glenelg. So I haven't seen her yet.
She'll be back. She's played West Torrens twice, ladder leaders.
Jam shot over towards short, easy play from Chelsea Robinson. So the first out of the inning. 2-0 game for New South Wales. Stacey Porter had a double, followed by Taylor Titsacronis that cashed her in the first in a home run from Rachel Lack.
Eastern replay, you just see that she was jammed a little, and Chelsea Robinson able to come in and take it about knee height, so quite comfortable. Just quickly on Rickson, just love the way she goes about it. No fuss. It looks like she just takes it all in her stride. So brilliant player for young players to watch and emulate. Don't try and burn all your energy too much. Just do all the basics, get it all right, and look how far she's come.
Montana Kearns up to bat. The Aboriginal health worker from Wagga Wagga. Grounds one over to short. Chelsea Robinson, a bit of a magnet right now, makes the play.
Yeah, Steph seems to have settled a little bit after that home run. Would have hurt knowing that she's given up 2 runs early in the game, but if there's something we know about Steph, that she'll just keep going all day if she has to.
It's a tough day for, I mean, South Australia's not the only team that has to do this, but 3 games that South Australia have to navigate through today, which just begs questions about how you manage your pitching rotation and who you start against which opponent. It's kind of pick your poison.
Yeah, absolutely. Isabel Hanna's the batter to the plate. Just on the draw, Eric, every team plays a day, 2 days with 3 games and 2 days with 2 games. No one has got triple header back to back to back, but they may have a double header at some stage, like back-to-back games. And then, yeah, you're right, pick your poison, because the short format tournament,
jammed over towards third base. It stays fair, and it just stayed alive. I think it just dropped in and curled off to the left. So a 2-out hit, just like the first inning. This time from Isabel Hanna, who's making her Nationals debut.
had back and side spin on that hit from the left-handed batter's box, just over the head of Kaiser, who was down a little bit for maybe a running bunt attempt. But the SA players might learn from that one. Just go back just a little bit, because it looks like slapping all day from that left side.
First time through the lineup for New South Wales. They have 4 hits, 2 doubles, and a home run. 2 runs, though, the important mark. And Michelle Cox, her second time up, swings through a Trzynski pitch.
Yeah, so just back on the draw, 5-day tournaments with 4 days of minor round, final day for finals. Softball Australia made the decision on feedback from the states to reduce the tournaments from 6-7-day tournaments, help to reduce the costs. And then, you know, perhaps even time away from work and family, etc. So that's why the tournaments are compacted. I think you'll find if there was any more than 6 teams, maybe a 7 or 8 team tournament, you might only see a single round. We did see 7 teams for the 23s, but that was only East Texas Baptist played half a round, so still played the full double round for that one.
Michelle Cox, a former NCAA player as well.
San Jose, which is where Taylor Chillingworth's off to.
A lot of those Aussie connections. You saw the woman standing on first base right now, and Isabel Hanna also was at Pensacola.
With Georgia Hood. They're over at first together at the moment.
Some mates.
Yeah.
Cox over towards left field. Tonkin has to realign and make the play. So lead-off home run from Rachel Lack has put New South Wales up 2-0 through 2. And they have come out with a little bit of intent, this New South Wales side.
4 hits, 2 in each inning for New South Wales, seeing a lot of pitches, getting a lot of the ball, just the 1 strikeout so far. But some good, equally good defense from South Australia.
You can watch every single game of this tournament thanks to Spacequake Sports. There is a page set up where all those games are located. We'll also be posting highlights and stories throughout the day. So if you miss any games, you can always tune in on all the social media accounts and find out what's going on and see what happened on the back diamond. Though right now it is Victoria playing Western Australia in their return to the tournament.
Yeah, it's still in the second inning, and Victoria still lead 2-0 against WA. Might have to look at the play-by-play, I reckon, and see if we can see a bit more than just the score. But yeah, thanks to Spacequake Sports, bringing us to all the games from Diamond 2. So everyone watching from interstate and overseas. I've seen someone watching from Nebraska, someone watching from PA, someone watching from Pensacola as well. Absolutely loving the coverage, and it's now gone to 3-0 in favour of Victoria.
You've got anyone watching at home, we want to know where you're watching from. So you've got exactly 1 inning to tell us the most obscure place. We want to find the most obscure place you're watching. James will read it out for us at the end of the 3rd inning. How's that sound, James?
Yeah. Victoria scored 3 in the 2nd, and they've got 4 hits. WA yet to register a hit. They've got a couple of guns from Auburn in their team playing. Have I mentioned that already?
Pippa Adkins steps up to bat. She's born in South Australia, raised in South Australia, played her club juniors in South Australia, but has moved to Queensland, and that's where she's playing right now. Was back with South Australia last year during the national tournament, and obviously South Australia won that title. Pippa won a Rookie of the Year in the South Australian competition, but she's been training and playing games against the Queensland Open Women's State team.
Yeah, she comes back when she can in between uni, and went to a Junior Women's Worlds.
Strikes out on a pitch that just found the strike zone. It's her 4th strikeout in a row and 6th strikeout for Kaya Parnaby in the first 8 batters of this game.
Yeah, it might be coming from the left side. I can't remember a left-handed pitcher throwing in South Australia. Go back to maybe Caitlin Tobin was a lefty. Premiership player with Sturt before Monica Perry came over.
So these South Australians probably seen something that they don't usually get to see. Can that be a big adjustment?
I think it is. It's just reading the pitch off the pitcher's hip. Obviously, we've gone through 8 batters so far, and just need to make the adjustments. Whether it's a lefty or a righty, there's still an adjustment to be made in the box.
There's 3 strikeouts looking and 3 swinging, so it's an even balance of how Parnaby is claiming her victims.
Just keeps peppering that outside edge as well. So the pitch before, New South Wales wanted the call. This one they got it. I thought it may have been a little low, but she's still working that outside edge.
She has been working that outside edge, and Sarah's back in the box quite a bit. So I wonder if the adjustment they make is moving up to the plate a little bit more and taking that outside edge away, fouling off those inside pitches until they see one that they want to swing at.
Well, Andrew Kirkpatrick is one of Australia's greatest, maybe one of the world's greatest players, and he pitches from the left side.
Grounded up the middle, off one glove, into the glove of Stacey McManus. Took a deflection off Parnaby, but McManus makes the play.
Watch this world-class pickup from McManus as it deflects off the glove, as you said, Eric, and then just on a little half hopper, picks it up, throws it in one motion, and throws out Tonkin on the Eastern replay.
She makes that look easy, but I don't think that was simple at all.
As casual as you like taking it.
Yeah, whatever.
That
easy.
was brilliant. Don't make no bones about that play. That was amazing.
Jordan Harris. 2nd time through for South Australia. So this is, like you said, Katie, where we got to look for, see what kind of adjustments SA makes. Still towards the back of that box, though, for Jordan Harris. Pop up, and a play from Porter ends the inning. 1, 2, 3, 7 retired in a row. All but 1 have been put down by Kaya Parnaby, and South Australia have a little bit of a hole to try to get through. As you see Jordan Harris just try to use her legs to get on base, so South Australia a bit of a different approach. But Jordan Harris heading back in the field. I know that she's one of those players, and you know better than anyone, James, that she was dying to get back on the field with her stars.
Yeah, it killed her to miss last year. She was always around the team, but and played the first couple of games of the season before. So, you know, they're her best friends. A whole bunch of these girls, they spend a lot of time together, including New Year's just a couple of days ago, and dying to be part of it again. Just changed it up a little bit, so slight adjustment made, something different, swung hard at the first one and then tried the bunt. So for the first time we've seen short game from South Australia. So good to see them all taking some pitches as well. I didn't finish what I was saying about Andrew Kirkpatrick pitches from the left side, but because of his height and his speed, you have to be at the back of the box. But good point from Katie. If you can catch up to the speed of Parnaby, you know, you've got to then take away a lot of the spin, which she's getting, and those backdoor strikes that she's getting on the outside edge of the plate for a right-hander are just going to kill you all day if you're at the back of the box.
2-0 lead for New South Wales. Rachel Lack has the solo shot in the second inning, and you feel like this inning right here, a crucial one for South Australia. They're going against 3 Olympians in McManus, Porter, and Titsacronis, the 2-3-4 part of the New South Wales lineup. It's their second time through. And South Australia can get out of this inning without any damage. Maybe they have a bit of momentum to make an adjustment, but if New South Wales can use their powerful part of their order, they might just be able to put this game out of touch. Pivotal inning in the context of this game. And Stacey McManus, who just made that nice play, leads things off. Beautiful day, though, for softball here in South Australia. Hovering around, what, 30 degrees today? Not much of a breeze. Perfect.
Yeah, it's the hottest day of the tournament today. It's going to get up to about, 28, 29 degrees, and then midweek it's going to be mid-20s. So it might get cold at night, and then on finals day it's back up to 29.
The West Beach chill.
That West Beach breeze.
Oh, it's
a killer, huh?
I mean, you can have days like this where it's 30 degrees, and then at nighttime you're wearing a hoodie and a toque and feeling all good.
Yeah, you definitely bring your sleeves if you know you're going to be playing at night.
Not much rain in the forecast this week, which is good. If there is any, it will be just a sprinkle, probably on Wednesday night, Thursday, which maybe the Diamond could use, to be totally honest, but nothing outrageous that will risk having this game or this tournament be affected by weather, which sometimes these tournaments are, and that's why these first time that these teams play each other are so important. Every team plays each other twice, but it's the end of the first time through the teams that count in terms of tiebreakers if there were to be washouts later in the tournament. Grounded over towards Kaesler. Kaesler across the diamond, and well picked from Georgia Hood at first base. Again, a play that was probably difficult, made to look easy. You being over at third base, walk us through this play, Katie, on the replay.
Yeah, so she had to go get that ball, play that hop, and then make that throw in enough time to get the runner. It was definitely a good dig from first base.
Reverse angle on the Eastern replay, great pickup.
Yeah, that's hard when that ball's taking you away from where you're trying to throw.
Those little plays come up big because it changes the whole complexion. If that ball gets away, dips away, or Kaesler can't make that play, all of a sudden Stacey Porter, who's already got a double in this game, or a single, and then reached second on probably an error in center field. Either way, she's still on second base. She's got to hit this game, Stacey Porter. Porter, nice play at second base from Jordan Harris. She had to be quick. That's South Australian infielding coming up big right now.
Yeah, Harris got her body behind it, and then the ball sort of cut off the pitch a little bit there, cricketing term, and she took it glove side, comfortably throws it over. She made that change over to second base because Lana Kaesler at West Torrens has been playing so well at short that she just came back from having Maeve and just slotted straight into 2.
Taylor Titsacronis had that ball that just sailed over the head of Sarah Tonkin in left field in the first inning. That cashed in the first run.
Good piece.
Back towards center field, moving all the way back to the wall and over the wall.
Clipped the fence, I think, on the way past. She's got all that second home run of the game for New South Wales. It's their third extra base hit, and it's their third run of the game.
And the second RBI for Taylor Titsacronis. She went deep in the last Gilley Shield. She's done it again here, and it's a 3-0 lead for the Firestarters.
Eastern replay shows she's got all of it. Pippa Atkins could do nothing but watch it sail over. She eats it up, doesn't she, Taylor? Let's have a look at her celebration.
New South Wales off to a great start. 1 run in each inning, all off extra base hits. Showing the power they have. Bree Trim.
There's another look on the Eastern replay. Just checking to see if there's action in the South Australian bullpen. I can see 2 New South Wales pitchers warming up as we watch Titsacronis again with that celebration.
Over to third. What a catch! Lana Kaesler! What a play! Dives over to rob Bree Trim of a base hit, and this is going to look great on the Eastern replay.
Huge moment in the game, down 3-0. South Australia need a spark, and there she is, Kaesler diving to her right.
That's a great snag on that too, because if that ball had gotten past her, that's going down left field line, down that fence.
Dead man's alley. There's always
into
extra
that
bases.
Corner.
Huge catch.
Maybe something South Australia can use to draw a little bit of momentum. All 3 outs this inning. Very good plays. Looks even better in slow motion. So South Australian defense taking away a couple runs. 2 runs off the long ball today from New South Wales. And SA will have their 2, 3, 4 part of the lineup, and Hood, White, and Grauer up to bat. James, where are people watching from?
Mate, you've put the challenge out, that's for sure. I'm going to need your help with some of the pronunciations. Well, Vanuatu, of course.
Okay.
One of South Australia's finest imports out to Vanuatu as well. Nicole. And then Launceston, Tasmania, a couple from New South Wales, MacArthur and Casino. Canberra, Pensacola, mentioned that before, Florida, and a couple in Canada. Eric, you go through them.
Yeah, we got Maple Ridge in Canada. That's the home of the Benedictsons, and Larry Walker, the famous baseball player, in Guelph, Ontario.
Larry Walker's a legend.
It's probably my mom.
I know my mom's watching.
Yeah.
Scott Redigan's watching from the stand.
Oh, what?
Maybe he's looking at the replay of Lana Kaesler's catch or Titsacronis' home run.
There's been a few highlights in this one. I'll tell you what, like, we have to choose a few plays as a highlight reel play. Vicky McFarland also watching. Former import
Former Stars player.
Stars and for Port Adelaide. A few people watching from all over the place. There's been some nice reach already on the broadcast, bringing this premier tournament all around the world. Amber Hood struck out the first time she was up to bat, but it was an 8-pitch at bat, if you remember, and she was she made life difficult for Kaya Parnaby, probably more difficult than the other women in the batting lineup for South Australia so far.
Yeah, she's not an easy strikeout. She sees a lot of pitches. She gets a lot of walks, but she also kills off a lot of pitches as well. Like the ones that she's not in her hitting zone, whatever, she's able to foul the ball off until she gets one.
Yeah, she's got a great eye. Now she's 2-2 right now. So let's see if she fouls anything off here.
Watch that all the way down for a ball.
5 pitches deep now.
She's seen 13 pitches now versus Kaya Parnaby in this game. Just does enough to stay alive.
That's one she didn't want to foul off, but she's still alive in the count. Interesting to see. Shortstop for New South Wales looks maybe 1 or 2 steps off the running line. The second base is back, perhaps only 2 or 3 steps off the grass.
And it goes right to her.
Montana Kearns perfectly placed for that out. Ground ball off a couple of bounces. Over to Porter for the first out.
Well, if you eliminated Belle White from this lineup, Kaya Parnaby has been perfect. The only person to get on base is Belle White, who had a double with 2 outs in the first inning. Other than that, 6 strikeouts, and the last 3 now have been ground outs or a line out off of a bunt. So Bell White trying to provide a spark to South Australia, who are 3 runs in the hole here in the top of the 4th inning. I know that Bug says top of the 3rd, but South Australia have scored, or New South Wales rather, have scored 1 run in each of the innings. And look at that, producer Brandon right on it. Australia's #1 softball producer Brandon.
He's very shy, isn't he? He's not going to like that sort of limelight.
White again getting ahead in the count. It feels like everybody is being, I mean, Kyle Parnaby's done a great job getting herself ahead of counts, throwing that first pitch strike. But Bell White, this is another at-bat where she's raced ahead by taking a few balls.
Yeah, it's been few and far between that Parnaby's gotten this far behind in a count.
I think it's just been 2 at-bats, and it's been Bell White both times.
Yeah, she went 3-0 before a timeout and then swung wildly at one.
Do you think Bell's got the green light to swing on a 3-0 count here?
Off Parnaby, yes. It should be the only one because, like we were talking about before, she catches to her.
Ball's got a bit of carry today in the dirt, so Bell White on base. The first walk of the day from Kaya Parnaby. A bit of power in the next 2 bats in Yo Grauer and Georgia Hood. We've had some games out here where that wind is just howling and those balls just don't really leave the park. Today, it's the perfect ball carrying condition. It's hot, the wind's going out there a little bit. Good hitting weather.
Yeah, you just get the bat on the ball, it's gonna go.
Well, South Australia got the perfect 1-2 punch to follow Bell White, especially for these conditions that you mentioned with Grauer and then Georgia Hood.
Fills up the zone again. Another D1 player in Yo Grauer, and back on schedule for Kaya Parnaby. She's ahead 0-2.
UCLA, 4 years. Amazing campus. That's where I coached the Australian Special Olympic team to a silver medal. Around about the time that she was there, 2015, I reckon, might have been her freshman year. I'll have to check my photos of the locker. I never thought about that.
See if you can find Yo Grauer in the locker room. So many little Aussie connections. SA needs something here. Called strike.
Side edge again.
That's the 7th strikeout of the day. 7th different player she's got to strike out too. Can't feel too bad if you're striking out. Everyone's doing it.
Amber Hood is a speed-up runner for catcher Belinda White.
Just fought back towards that outside edge too.
That's just, looking at the replay, I'm just like, yeah, that's definitely something you need to foul off, especially if you're down in the count with a runner on.
Just stay alive.
Yep.
Georgia Hood. Right through it.
Tried to hold back on that one. There wasn't a strike called by the plate umpire, but she checks down the line. I didn't see any problem with that one being a called strike, or strike swinging, but I think with a swing like that, that one might have been a predetermined swing at the first pitch, no matter where it is.
Again, Parnaby ahead in the count.
And how often does that happen? You'd swing wildly at one and then the next one just goes straight down the slot.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Still a runner on for Georgia Hood, who's got some serious power in her swing. One swing of the bat would just change this game completely. Ball was up, but she knocked it away.
And she's good enough to reach those higher ones. So even though she pulled back on the swing first pitch, she can hit those ones in the high above the strike zone, which works out in her favor as well, because when she goes hard.
She's definitely got a powerful swing here. She gets a piece of that ball, and it's gonna go. Just a matter of where it's going to go.
Swings through it. Second strikeout for Georgia Hood, but the 8th strikeout for Kaya Parnaby, who was allowed just a double and a walk to Belle White. But the other 8 in the lineup for South Australia haven't really been able to even touch her. And New South Wales head to the bottom of the 4th with a 3-0 lead.
There's the Eastern replay of the strikeout. Matt Williams is watching from a long way away.
The office.
Probably about 25 metres away. And he said, don't jinx us talking about the rain, because he's doing the grounds.
He's worried about it. Well, it's an interesting tournament. The Stars come in for the first time in 66 years as the reigning champions. They are the team to beat. And then you talk to people like Kerry Porter and the camp at New South Wales. That's exactly who they say is the team to beat, despite New South Wales. You know, they've won 12 since 2000. They won 4 in a row before SA did. They've got all these Olympians in the lineup at New South Wales.
And 20 of the last 35, Eric.
But they very much have SA circled as the saying, this is the team to beat, make no mistake about it. So New South Wales, maybe the underdogs this tournament, James?
Well, only in their eyes. Georgia Hood, the change has been made. It's coming into pitch. Pippa Atkins over to first. Abby Jorgensen goes out to centre field. So Steph Trzynski comes out after 3 innings of work. She gave up 1 in each of those innings. Big double from Titsacronis and RBI after Porter got to first, her single.
Yeah, 2 home runs, the big one. Rachel Lack, Taylor Titsacronis, you're right. Those were the big ones. 3 extra base hits in the game. So now Steph Trzynski may be being taken out just to try to save her for some games later on today.
Oh, yeah, 3 games today. So we'll see Steph again today and no doubt throughout the tournament. She's a world-class player. She's in the Aussie Spirit team that played at the World Cup in Birmingham, Alabama earlier middle of last year. We're in the 2nd of January, so you just get it right. Thanks to Spacequake Sports, just on Diamond 2, it's 3-1 in favour of Victoria. So WA managed to get on the board.
The big 3 pitchers for South Australia will be Trzynski, Grauer, and Georgia Hood. Jade Peterson, who had that excellent Open Women's last year, also will be sharing a big load of the pitching this week. And then after that, you maybe see another guest appearance somewhere in there if necessary from someone like Taylor Chillingworth, if absolutely necessary. But
I'm shaking my head because it was a shutout. She came in, she threw a 5-inning shutout against Victoria. Thanks for coming.
They'll use those
back in the rack,
and they'll use those 4 pitchers that I just mentioned, and then if only in an emergency or if necessary to save an arm, you'd think that would be the scenario.
Maybe.
Rachel Lack leads things off. She had a leadoff homer in the 2nd inning. That was off Steph Trzynski, but Georgia Hood now in the lineup. 28 years old, Rachel Lack. One of those core veteran players among the likes of players like Michelle Cox, Stacey McManus, of course, Stacey Porter.
One of the trio from the New South Wales team that went to college in Hawaii.
Just quality all over the place. Olympians, future Olympians.
Yeah.
Ball up high. Georgia Hood just pitched as well in the under-23 national championships. Come back home from college to represent your state. A couple seasons ago in the local competition with Hills, Georgia Hood really was the catalyst that kind of pulled the Hills all the way to a grand final appearance. In the grand final, they actually were leading Sturt in at one time. She was absolutely phenomenal, both pitching and with the bat. She smashed it all around the park. She had clutch moments, walk-offs, everything in between. But it's a leadoff walk for Rachel Lack.
Yeah, and the Hoods are kind of famous for doing the 5-hour drive each way from Mount Gambier to play in the Premier League, and And they both made the move to Adelaide. She was more of a regular player, and just everyone saw the class of this young star of the game.
Grace Rickson up to bat right now, and another person that travels a while to train. She travels 2 hours from Newcastle to play and plays for the Hills Heat. Her partner Ben played for South Australia at last year's men's national tournament.
Yep. We put him at shortstop. He'd never played there before. Good kid too.
Works as a disability support worker in country New South Wales, at least in the Central Coast. Grounded over towards short. Can they turn two? Throw across the diamond. They elect just to go for the one run. So job done from Grace Rickson. She's put Rachel Lack in scoring position.
She got there quick. She was on the move as well, Lack. So maybe a hit and run. Slides in unopposed, and a good take from Pippa Atkins to retire Rickson.
Brings back up Montana Cairns, who swung at the first pitch last time, grounded out to short. Robinson's been busy over at shortstop. Same with Lana Kaesler at third. Highlight reel diving catch that you can scroll back into the, if you're watching the stream, in the third inning. The last out was absolutely spectacular. From Wagga Wagga, Montana Cairns, and she's playing, and she has people watching from home. I'm sure they're watching on the stream as well. Her Nan and Pop. Her Nan Gladdy, she's in Walgett right now, 96 years old, watching and cheering on Montana Cairns.
Only 6. That's a fair inning. She's got a long way to catch up to Lee Hull.
I know, 20 years to go. You can catch Lee's commentary on the other game, but Cairns over towards short. What a play from Robinson, and she's going to get her in the rundown, and she slide back safe.
She's just held on to it for too long. Then Kaesler, all the hard work that Robinson did on the backhand side. Lack probably should have, some heads up running, should have known that she was in the gun.
Walk us through this, Katie.
Yeah, definitely want to push that runner back to second base if you're not going to get the out. So they did right by that, but I think right there, she just held the ball just a smidgen too long.
It gave her the opportunity to slide right in.
2 runners aboard. KP going to the bench.
How was the pick from Chelsea Robinson at short,
amazing
though?
Play it short.
Taking number 97 out, bringing number...
She just tracked it really well, didn't she? Didn't take her eye off it. Got the glove, kept the glove low, and she made a good play. What number you got? 26, that Arnott?
Yeah, Riley Arnott coming in for the pinch hit.
So fielder's choice 6, runners at 1 and 2. Lack had a walk to start the inning. Now Isabel Hanna, who got a single in her first plate appearance, has been replaced. I would have thought that a left-handed slap would go down well here.
No, Riley Arnott, 20 years old, one of the rising stars of New South Wales softball. She made that under-18 World Championship softball squad. That was the hard done by team that got axed.
Peru.
She played last year as well. She's got a bit of a presence about her in the box.
Yeah, I just noticed that it looks like she's in there ready to swing, ready to take that big hit and get those runs in.
Working as a case manager in community corrections right now, Riley Arnott. Jammed a little bit, knocks foul. This feels like a big base hit that scores a couple runs would just be the knockout punch that New South Wales need. Here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Yeah, 1 in each of the first 3 innings, and now threatening again in the 4th with only 1 out. And they've got the top of the order to come.
They're about to complete the 2nd time through the lineup, although this is Arnott's at bat. South Australia trying to work their way through the 2nd time, although if you're not named Belle White, anyone having trouble touching Kaya Parnaby right now. Swing and a miss from Arnott, so Georgia Hood gets her first strikeout of the day, and it's 1 out. South Australia probably could have been out of the inning, though. And instead, they'll have to face Michelle Cox. And if they can't get through her, McManus, Porter, Titsacronis, all lurking behind this top of the lineup for New South Wales is just scary. Cox from the left-handed side of the box. Black at 2, Cairns at 1. South Australia looking for their first donut on the scoreboard in an inning.
I'm sure they'll take any cheap out that they can get their hands on at this point. It's 3-0, you're still in the game. 4 or 5, halfway through, it's a long way back.
And it's a day the ball is traveling. You can kind of feel it even from when we're sitting. There's not an intense wind, but it's certainly blowing out towards the outfield fence.
Days like this, you love the sea breeze at West Beach. Particularly if you're a pull hitter.
Second strike on Michelle Cox. She's 0 for 2 on the day. Strikeout, flew out towards left field.
Looks like Hood's been going away from her. Every pitch has been outside, so I wonder if she'll come in and try and jam her on this last one.
It's all right until we get to that.
Yeah, she worked in on Arnott. Jammed her up for a couple of fouls and then struck her out on one inside. So she looks like she likes that side of the plate, doesn't she?
Full count.
Runners on the move.
Over towards second. Harris makes the easy play, and South Australia, for the first time today, have a 0 on the scoreboard. The 3 runs from New South Wales coming off the double from Titsacronis and then a home run from Lack and, again, Titsacronis. So South Australia find themselves down 3-0 to New South Wales. We're looking to start this tournament like they did last year. James, update over at Diamond 2.
Thanks to Spacequake Sports, it's Victoria still with the 3-1 lead over WA. So they've gone through 5 at this point. WA will bat last. So the nerves would have settled, you would have thought. WA haven't played in, well, since January 2020. So 3 years absent from the Diamond. And just the single hit, which has come from Willow Swinburne.
Who's pitching for Victoria?
Victoria's pitcher...
Nicky Martin, is it? No?
Therese Bonner is pitching 4 innings, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts at the moment.
36 strikes on 52 pitches. She's off to a nice start.
Yeah,
only the 1 walk.
Off to a good start. A couple of changes for New South Wales. We're seeing the Olympian, the 5-year career collegiate athlete from Washington, Gabby Plain.
So a pitching change as well. So Kaya Parnaby is out of the game. Her first start of the Open Women's Tournament, she goes 4 innings, allows just 1 hit, 1 walk, strikes out 8. So South Australia will be very thankful that Kaya Parnaby is out of the, maybe not, because look who's into the game. It's the plane train. Gabby Plain making her Nationals debut, and she, not just a star in Australian softball, but she became quite renowned in the college circuit in the United States.
Yeah, she was a finalist for the Collegiate Athlete of the Year in her senior year, not her super senior year, but her senior year with Washington, beaten by Jocelyn Arlo. That's a fair talent to be beaten by, but she was in a great team as well out at Washington. They were 2009 national champions, so a great program. And she got to play with some world-class players like Sis Bates, who spoke at my wedding. And, of course, you know, being a player that has been to several College World Series.
Yeah, she got the start in Game 1 of the College World Series. She was a first-team All-American twice and the Pac-12 Pitcher of the Year in 2021. Is that good?
Yeah. Well, Pac-12's got like huge schools in it, hasn't it? UCLA, Arizona, Washington, Oregon, Oregon State, Stanford, Cal.
Until now, though, has never played in an open women's. Goes against Lana Kaesler.
Any chance she'd be in the running for Rookie of the Year?
Just, I guess she technically qualifies for it, doesn't she? Oh, my goodness. Now, James, you think back to the Olympics that Australia were competing in. With Gabby playing on those teams. As Kaesler towards left field, but moving under it is Rachel Lack. But I was about to say, we sat and we did some, panel shows. It was during the COVID lockdown in South Australia. We were kind of analyzing the Australian softball team. And the woman that was hyping up Gabby Train, the plane train the most, was our co-panelist in Lana Kaesler, who now just got to face her.
Yeah, it would have been a bit of fangirling, I think. And then to see her thrown against her, well, I don't know if that's intimidation factor or not, but she got a good piece of it, fly out to left field. I'm sure she'll be going back to the dugout to give some feedback, though.
Chelsea Robinson would know Gabby playing well. They went together over towards Tokyo and that lead up to the Tokyo Olympics. Robinson was in the running to make that squad.
Timeout called. Yeah, it's tricky here with the SA pitching plates because for whatever reasons, I don't know why, the pitchers just dig and dig and dig and dig.
It's like the Grand Canyon on that mound.
Is it?
It is. It is. They dig it out so bad. And it's not just they're digging out where their drag foot is either. It's where their plant foot is too. So if you're not planting in the same spot as the other pitcher, you're gonna trip.
Great look at the camera work from Spacequake Sports.
And none of them come back and do any of the maintenance either.
Takes a pitch down low.
It's actually probably a good move for New South Wales to bring Plain in early in the tournament, get her some innings under her belt, get her some time pitching off this diamond, which I'm pretty sure it's her first trip to South Australia. So familiarising herself with the conditions.
Over towards third again, Bree Trim. Another nice play, 2 down. Now, we talked to a few of the coaches before this tournament, James, and we all asked them, they said, who's the team to beat? And most of them said, to be honest, these two teams right here, South Australia and New South Wales. South Australia defending champ, New South Wales scary. But all of them said, well, two different coaches said, we're very mindful of the 3 Ps that they have included in the side this year. That's Parnaby, Plain, and Porter. All of them have already made an impact in this game. Pippa Adkins.
Yeah, the worst part about that is that as soon as you take your eyes off a couple of the other players in this team, they're going to kill you. And Titsacronis has already got a RBI double and a home run in this game. The 3 Ps, don't forget the big T.
Which one, Taylor Titsacronis or Bree Tribb?
Well, she's an animal as well at the plate. She just crushes the ball.
Atkins gets a piece of it. That drifts foul as well. 3 runs for New South Wales. 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third. These are 7-inning games.
Well, we play till we get a result as well. So they can go shorter if there's a run rule, but it can go longer if required.
Saw that last year in the opener between New South Wales and SA. Extra innings game, just a thrilling game that was.
Looks like Plain's having some trouble with that mound where she's planting. She keeps trying to dig that out after every pitch.
We'll keep an eye on her here as Plain just trying to get loose still. Good at bat from Pippa Adkins. Fouls another one away.
A little late on it, but she's still got her hands to the ball to foul it off. I'm sure Atkins is hunting a pitch. That wasn't it.
Atkins, one of those players that living in Queensland right now from South Australia. And, you know, talking to the Queensland coaching staff, they're super impressed from what Pippa brings. Kind of ones that said, you live in Queensland now, you know, why don't you, you don't have to play for South Australia. I think Pippa has to play for South Australia.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Like, you'd be tempted so you could be part of a crew that you live and play with.
Flared over towards right field.
Lost it in the sun. Oh.
Still made the play. So that will retire South Australia. Still only Belle White, the only person to get on base. Gabby Plain comes in 1, 2, 3 inning, and now South Australia will start to run out of, well, outs.
Yeah. Yeah, top 5. So 6 outs to go. Here's a look at the replay. Just watch. Is it Isabel Hannah just right at the last second, just jolt as that glove completes the catch. It's here's another reverse angle from Swagskate Sports, and the Eastern replay just she had it covered. Yeah, well, it's now back to the top of the order for New South Wales as well. So if South Australia can hold them here again, you'd still think they're a chance. But if New South Wales can even put one more on the board, it might feel like a long way back.
It's been interesting for South Australia. They haven't really been, I mean, they're down 3-0, but it's not one of those games where New South Wales has just been pressuring all game, and that's the kind of runs they've scored. First inning, it was the only reason Stacey Porter was standing on second was because of an error in center field, and then a ball that just kept drifting over the head of the left fielder for Taylor Titsacronis. The next inning, a home run, a solo shot, and then the third inning, the only hit was a solo shot from Taylor Titsacronis. And then again in the fourth inning, a walk and a fielder's choice is how their 2 base runners got on there, and it hasn't been that relentless, base hit left, base hit right. So I'm sure South Australia can't feel too horrible about that. You'd probably feel a little worse if it was just they were just getting peppered all game.
Yeah, there's been 3 big hits, right? And they've been the difference.
Yeah, they've been 2 home runs. You can't really defend against those.
Knocked to left field. Tonkin takes it off of a weird hop. Limits it to a single. Yeah, you're right. You can't defend the home runs, but South Australia's defense has been flashy. Think about that great play from Lana Kaesler over at third base. Jordan Harris made a nice play at second.
Both middle infielders have had some good plays.
Chelsea Robinson's been a magnet all game. But Stacey McManus with her first hit of the tournament. Now the danger part of the lineup. Porter, she has a single and scored, and then Titsacronis due up. She's got a double and a home run.
Watches one. Got a feeling there might be a play on here, but just can't work out what it might be, seeing as that Porter long ball specialist.
Over towards right, that just gets through. Pippa Adkins, it'll have a runner on first and second, and 2 runners on for a woman that's already hit a home run. And just as I was saying, New South Wales haven't really been pressuring all game long. Now there's serious pressure on with 2 on and no outs.
Eastern replay, Porter pushes the ball from the outside of the plate down the right field line. Too hot for Pippa Adkins, who just had to turn the glove at the last moment as it was tailing away from her. The left-hander, Harris, there for backup, so limits the damage.
RBI double in the first, solo shot in the third.
Red hot form for Titsacronis from day one, from her first at bat.
Both of those knocks were off Steph Trzynski. This is the second inning of work for Georgia Hood. Rides a little inside. Got to be a bit cagey against Titsacronis here, but you can't be too careful because there's 2 runners on. And now she's in a great hitter's count. Fouled away, brings the count full. So Hood just battling away here.
That's all she can do, honestly. I mean, you bring anything close to Taylor, she's gonna take it. Send it.
Take a look at the necklace she's wearing, James, the Olympic rings. See the tattoo on Belle White as well. Over towards right field. Does this have carry as well? It's to the right gap, and it's over the head. 1 run will... No runs will score. It's just going to be a loud single for Titsacronis, who now has a single, a double, and a home run.
Well, she's hitting for a cycle if
Yeah,
she gets another.
I hope she does.
Attempt. Abby Jorgensen does well to back up there out at center field. Great piece of the ball from Titsacronis. Both runners were tagging for a little bit, and then they saw that it was clear of the right field. A timeout called from the SA Stars. Trouble. Bases loaded with none outs here in the bottom of the 5th. And run rule territory if there's a long ball.
Yeah, if Bree Trim hits a home run, it's I guess it's technically a walk-off.
Yeah.
No, you've got runners on 1, 2, and 3. No.
Not necessarily a game-winning one, but a game-clinching home run, if you call it that.
Game-ending.
Game-ending, walk off the field.
88 minutes into the game.
Bree Trim. She's been on Aussie Spirit squads before, but been on Victoria Titans the last couple Gilley Shields. She was phenomenal last year, and now gets to play for her home state.
She's gone left side twice, both at bats. Left side might want to be heads up.
She was on the Aussie Schoolgirls team and made 2 junior world championships.
Goes ahead of the count, 2-0. Timeout called. Maybe just the signals, because you can see Porter on 2, trying to get a good look at what they are.
Grounded up the middle, it's gonna cash in 1. Titsacronis getting the wave around as well. It's an RBI single for Bree Trim. 2 runs cross the plate, and New South Wales deliver a crucial blow, and it's 5-0.
Yeah, shot up the middle on the Eastern replay. She didn't try to do too much with it. 2 runs score. Now there's runners at the corners, and Rachel Lack, the other home run hitter, comes up to bat.
All 5 runs have been driven in by the 4, 5, 6 batters in the New South Wales lineup. That's exactly what you try to script up if you're a coach. Middle of the lineup, driving in runs, and that's exactly what's happened. Titsacronis with 2, Trim with 2, and this woman, Rachel Lack, had the solo shot in the 2nd.
Bree Trim happy there on the Eastern replay.
She can end the game here. Still no outs on the board.
Looks like Bree Trim's looking for a steal sign from coach at 3rd.
Good time to do it with the runner at 3rd.
I'm surprised she hasn't gone yet, because I don't know that I would risk that throw to 2.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to protect a run rule.
Yeah, the infield for South Australia's inside the line too, so it looks like an open base.
So you're saying just go.
Why not?
You have some runs to play with. It's not a close game anymore. South Australia, now this inning all about survival, so the run rules work. It's 14 after 3, 10 after 4, and the 7-run lead after 5, and then the game is called. So South Australia, still a chance to come back, but they have to get out of this inning, and that strikeout from Hood will help.
Yeah, she wasn't happy with the call, Rachel Lack, but it was a good spot from Hood to get one out. Rickson up to bat. Not out of trouble yet, South Australia.
Rickson punished South Australia last year. And she'll go up the middle, and she'll do it again. 1 run is scored, and it's bobbled in the outfield. Runner is getting the wave around home. New South Wales can end it here. There'll be a play at the plate, and Trim slides in safe. A 7-run lead for New South Wales.
We'll end the game.
Rickson cashes it in, and New South Wales have won Game 1 7-0.
Well, what a big inning it was from New South Wales. A single, a hard hit to cause an error at first. Another single from Titsacronis that went to the outfield. Perhaps should have scored a run, but, you know, runners were tagging up. Then Bree Trim 2 RBIs. And then Grace Rickson with an RBI single herself. There's the play at the plate to end the game.
7-0 for New South Wales. Finally exploded.
Lots of games to get through this weekend, so we might wrap it up quickly, but if you want to see some more softball, head over to the other game that's being played at the moment thanks to Spacequake Sports. WA have just taken the lead 5-3.
Wow. Katie, final thoughts on this game?
Adjustments needed to be made. I don't think that they were on South Australia's side, and I think that New South Wales came out ready to go.
Simple as that. It's a 7-0 win for New South Wales. 1 game in the book at the Gilley Shield. It feels like hundreds more to come. Stay tuned.